good morning, good afternoon, or good night from whenever and wherever you are watching us. I am Cameron Scandal. Always do the wrong way. That way is Steven Schreffler. We are the sound. Thank you so much for joining us here today. It's a pleasure to have you. We got a lot of stuff going on today. A lot of events happening. NBA Finals. People getting tackled on golf tournaments. People being touted as the greatest center of all time way too early. We just got things we need to discuss today. A lot of
we
things
need to make
on.
sure that history remembers the right thing.
The sound needs to be heard. So, without further ado, let's get you listening. Let's get right into it. A lot going on. The Denver Nuggets are your 2023 NBA champions. Give them their praise.
It up for the boys. 2 claps and a Ric Flair.
They've earned it. It's been a long time coming. They won 94-89, won the series in 5, so we were 1 off. We were close. We were very close. We didn't expect Miami to play like absolute dog crap. But Nikola Jokic, 28, 16, and 4. Jamal Murray, 14, 8, and 8. And Michael Porter Jr. was 16 and 13. And as Steve told me before the show, a career high in playoff rebounds for Michael Porter Jr. Shout out to the Nuggets. On the Heat side, Jimmy, not Himmy, buckets. No, not even buckets. Jimmy, not Himmy, Butler. 21 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists. Numbers don't tell his story as always. And Bam, the Heat's actual best player in this series, 20 and 12. The Heat shot 34% from the floor to Denver's 45. And now, actually, I think this is more telling of how bad Miami played in terms of keeping up with Denver. So Miami shot a better 3-point percentage. They shot 33 or 31% better from the free throw line, and had Denver almost doubled the Heat's turnover amount.
Yeah, there was a point in time last night where the Denver Nuggets were 1 of 14 from 3-point range. So it's interesting.
So the Denver Nuggets are your champion. Nikola Jokic is your Finals MVP. And Nikola Jokic is also now the best player in the world. We're going to talk about him later in the show. For right now, I'd like to focus on the Miami Heat, as I always do. So, the Miami Heat went on an unprecedented run in the playoffs by beating the best player in the world, the Knicks, and a team in Boston that had just made the finals last year and who a lot of people, I think, maybe had going back or were one of the best teams in the East. We then go to the NBA Finals and play like we just came out of an AAU tournament. Jimmy Butler was being touted as one of the all-time great, not just this season, as one of the all-time great playoff performers. He then proceeds to have one of the most underwhelming superstar performances that I can think of. And I don't think I am being too hard or too harsh when I say that Jimmy Butler lost us the NBA Finals. Now, is it just because in the final few minutes of the game and in crucial possessions, he threw the ball away and made a careless youth league basketball error? No, that's not why. Is it because not once but twice with the game on the line or the lead on the line or a significant moment and he took a contested three-pointer that was just bad? No other way to put it. Is that why? No, that's not why. Jimmy Butler had 5 games to show me, the city of Miami, and the NBA world at large that you deserve to be where you're at and get the praise you were getting. You then proceeded to go backwards in your performance. And I don't think that if you play the series 10 times, I don't think Miami loses 8 times in a row. I just don't.
Agreed.
And I just don't think it's about, well, Denver was just better. When Miami was playing better than them, Denver still won. Now, I am not going to hold this against Jimmy into saying He can't do it. Trade him. This is not the level of Embiid where it's like, nah, he doesn't have it. He clearly does. So I'm not going to hold this against him in the next season, but he will take 99.9% of the blame for this loss. Congrats to the Nuggets. You earned it. But the Heat also gave it away, and I think they still had a shot at winning if they were if the Heat were to have shown up in that series, and they just didn't. So, like I said, I give Denver all the props in the world, but I think it was more Miami beating themselves than it was Denver winning.
You had made a point to me before the playoffs even started when we were looking at the matchups in the first round, and I said, oh, well, the Heat playing Milwaukee, and you said that's going to end in 5 and Milwaukee's going to win. And I said, you're probably right, but if there's any team in this first round that I'm like, man, they, on paper, like they always show up in the playoffs, it's that team. And you made a very impactful statement in that moment. You said, do you remember what you said to me?
I do not. This is a
you
while
said,
ago.
And I just wrote it down. You said, if the Heat were going to win, it was going to be on Jimmy's back. And I said, yeah, I agree. And you said, if the Heat are going to make a playoffs run, it's going to be on Jimmy's back. And then you said, matter of fact, if the Heat are going to win the finals, it's going to be on Jimmy's back. The Jimmy that we all talked about being the leader, being the superstar that was going to carry the Heat to the promised land, who needed to carry the Heat to the promised land. Because without Tyler Hero, which I still have absolutely no idea why they would come out and say that he's available, get everybody's hopes up to see him possibly come in and play, and then he just disappeared, but I guess that doesn't matter. But it just is he just disappeared. Jimmy Butler from the first round to the Eastern Conference Finals was not the Jimmy Butler that played in the finals. And I just don't know where it went. I don't know if the moment at that point was too big, because I don't believe that, because in 2020, Jimmy Butler dropped 2 30-point and one 30-point and 140-point triple-double in the finals, both in games where his team needed him to win. So I just don't know what happened to Jimmy Butler. But what I can say is that, switching gears, the Nuggets showed me a few things. The Nuggets may have the deepest team, top to bottom, in the NBA right now, as far as talent. The Nuggets have arguably the best second player in the league right now. I know there's a lot of things up for contention with that, but Jamal Murray proved a lot of things to the NBA world this playoffs. And the first thing he proved was that 2020 was not a fluke. I think Jamal Murray solidified himself as not only a star, but he's knocking on that superstar door. The Heat, it's no knock to you guys. There's nothing to be ashamed of for getting here and losing, but it's the way you lost. And that's what's going to stick with Heat fans for a while, is this was not the team that we thought would lose in the fashion that they did.
Yeah, and you brought up 2 points that I actually wanted to talk about, and I forgot. One was the Tyler Hero thing. I think.
What was that all about?
So dude? there was a moment in the game where the Heat, it was the final seconds. The Heat were technically still alive. There was more than 10 seconds left, and Eric Spoelstra said, "Don't foul, like let him go." There was a lot of time left on the clock. And I think that's just recognizing when you're beat. I think Eric Spoelstra recognized he was beat, and had the thought of, do I want to throw Tyler Hero in Game 5 where we're going to lose anyway? And he hurts his hand again.
That's a good point.
So I just think Eric Spoelstra saw the writing on the wall and was like, yeah, we don't have it. I also wanted to mention what you said just at the end about making the finals. We do this to LeBron all the time. Well, not the sound, but other people. You are knocked for losing in the finals, but not for losing before the finals. We still made the finals, and he was the reason we did that. I was prepared to lose. I mean, I said on the show after the Eastern Conference Finals that Jimmy looks tired, something's off, he doesn't have the look. It's a bad loss. It's all on Jimmy. His points per game, his rebounds, and his field goal percentage from the field and the three-point line all went down from the rest of the playoffs in these finals. I feel like it's sometimes unfair to just say, as you and I, two guys watching pro athletes say, just play better, like just do better. But we've seen that he can do better. Like, this isn't who he is. So we're not asking too much or being unreasonable by just saying, hey, Jimmy, be Jimmy. Like, that's really what it comes down to.
No, that's fair. That's a very fair point.
Denver wins the series 4-1, 194-89 in Game 5. They are the 2023 NBA champions. Nikola Jokic is your 2023 Finals MVP. And we'll see what happens from there. Denver Nuggets are the first franchise win. Congratulations. Moving on to everyone's favorite segment on the show, Soundbite. And I'm sure by now you know what Soundbite is. You've seen enough, but just in case you haven't, I'm going to do it one more time. So Soundbite is the segment where Steve and I take a clip of someone having a post-game interview. They're on a podcast just saying something kind of weird, silly, interesting, whatever. Something we think we want to hear and talk about. We listen. So on today's Soundbite, we have an emotional Jamal Murray speaking after the Nuggets won the NBA Finals and what this run and coming back to the playoffs meant to him. So let's take a look at that.
You were barely able to walk, but you vowed to come back. You vowed to come back even better than you were before. Can you describe to me what this championship journey has been like for you?
It's just an amazing feeling, you know. Blood, sweat, and tears to get back to this point. Everybody on my team in here, everybody on the floor, believe in me to get back to myself, and we proved a lot of doubters wrong. And I mean, look at this. I appreciate it. I mean, I learned a lot about myself just being out for 2 postseasons, just grinding, you know, having so many things going through my head. Watching my team, you know, go through the ups and downs, and just to see us healthy, know what we can do. We had the belief from the get-go. You guys had the belief from the get-go.
So there you have it. Jamal Murray going through a lot of emotions, rightfully so. It's been a long journey. It's been a painful journey, but one that was clearly worth it in the end. I picked this clip today because I just want to talk about and appreciate Jamal Murray. In the 2020 NBA playoffs, scored over 20.7 times. And he scored over 50, scored over 30 a few times, scored over 40 a few times. There are not many guys in this league who can play with a outright superstar like Jokic, like take that backseat and still be as amazing and as a high-volume playoff performer as he was. A big thing for Nuggets fans was like, hey, we had Jamal Murray, maybe we're in the championship. Like, that's all true now. Like, Jamal Murray, all he had to do was prove he could stay healthy and do what he did again, and he did. Like, I think Jamal Murray is going to be an all-star this coming year. I want to know how many All-NBAs he has. If he has a third team, I doubt he has a second or a first team. That might be on the way. I just think things are on the come up for Jamal Murray, and great things are on his horizon, and he will quickly become one of the best players in the league consistently.
To me, he doesn't elevate his game in the finals. He just plays that way all year round. Like when the playoffs, like he's just always consistently scoring at a high level. And also, I'm pretty sure he averaged 10 assists in the finals as well. They showed a stat last night. I'm pretty sure he averaged 10 assists in the finals. But either way, Jamal Murray does a lot for the city of Denver. And one of the things that I think about when I think of Jamal Murray is that there are probably plenty of teams in the NBA that if he left Denver, he would be the best player on that team.
Yes.
There's plenty of teams in the league right now that is the case.
He could, I mean, this might be like, oh, duh, sentence, but he could start on every single team in the NBA.
There are not a lot of people who are okay taking shotgun to
when you're that good
or to any star, but you have to. And there are, but like what I love about the relationship between Jamal and his teammates is that when Jamal Murray needs to step up, he can. So if Jokic is having a bad game or he's in foul trouble or there's something going on where Jokic can't be the impactful, Jamal Murray is still able, even with Jokic on or not, to elevate his game and just keep it there.
There are a lot of stories in sports where it's just, man, if that player would have been able to stay healthy, or if they would have been in a different situation, like who knows what would have happened. I'm glad Jamal Murray is not a what if.
Me too.
I'm really glad Jamal Murray got healthy, came back, and did what every smart person thought he was going to do. They're not the same without him. They're just not.
How many teammates have ever both scored a 30-point triple-double in the NBA Finals?
One.
Oh, was it Kobe and Shaq?
No.
It was Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, wasn't it?
It was. Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
Crazy how those things work. Shout out to Jamal Murray. Congrats on your amazing journey and finally getting what you deserve. Well done. Moving on to our next topic, something a little strange. If you're not following golf or a big fan of golf, you might have missed this. But recently at the Canadian Open, the RBC Canadian Open, Adam Hadwin was full contact tackled, suplexed, if you will, by a security guard, going to join his friend who had just won the tournament in celebration, champagne in hand, and security just leveled him, laid him out. So let's take a quick look at that. So there it is. Absolutely rocked. I'm sure he was on his plane home, icing up, probably a little sore. But Steve, your thoughts to Adam Hadwin's unfortunate incident?
You know, there's nothing worse than you're standing there getting ready to celebrate with your Canadian buddy who just won the Canadian Open. By the way, you just finished like 7th in the tournament at -11, so you're getting a nice paycheck too. And then all of a sudden you're running out to celebrate with your bottle of champagne, and some big bald bastard comes out of nowhere and just spears you into the earth. Most golf fans who do watch golf, or if you're into social media or anything, remember at the Waste Management Phoenix Open this year, there was a streaker that caused the disturbance of about probably 4 to 5 minutes, maybe longer, ran onto the par 3, ran through the lake up onto the island. The whole thing was shut down. Security was trying to get the guy off of there. He stripped down into some Speedo, so one sense, I can appreciate the security guard being ready to, take care of business. And boy, was that tackle perfect. Head cocked to the side, wrap around, drive with the legs. I mean, kids at home, if you're watching, that's a picture perfect tackle right there. But on the other side, it's like, well, how did security not know that a guy who's able to stand next to the green to celebrate with his best friend is not just some, random guy? So maybe a little lack in communication there. Maybe a guy trying to take his job to the next level and get that promotion. Who knows? But either way, it was pretty funny.
I think it's a great thing that happened, not only for the comedy and the viralness of it, but what do you want that security guard to do? Like, imagine if that was, would you want him to suspect that that's somebody's friend with a bottle of champagne when really maybe it was a crazy person with a gun? Like, I wouldn't want my person on security detail taking little shortcuts like that and guessing at possible threats. I would want my security guard to do the same thing.
Hey, you know what? And in typical Canadian fashion, he apologized to the security guard for making him tackle him. So what? There you go. That says everything about Canada you need to know. So
can you imagine getting hit and on the way down you're like, my bad? Like, as you're going back,
you land and you just go, hey, bud, it's okay. I understand. We're all good.
Adam Hadwin is okay, by the way. He had no injuries or nothing like that. He's all good. Just a strange moment in the world of golf, but we're here to update you on it. Moving on to our final subject of the day, we're going to go back to basketball, talk a little Nikola Jokic, talk a little legacy and a little historical context, and we're going to kind of set the NBA world at ease a little bit. So, is Nikola Jokic the best player in the world? I said it at the start of the show. Absolutely he is. Title, crown can be his. Even Steve is like, listen, it's in my hand, and he can grab it, but I'm holding on to it until he earns it. So he did earn it. Good for him. He is a 2-time MVP. He now has a ring and a finals MVP. He was the best player on a finalist. This playoff run outside of the finals, some people don't want to say that it was a dominating playoff run. Maybe not the most dominant, but top 7, maybe. All that being said, let's pump the brakes a little bit on Nikola Jokic. Because if you watch, there's a really good video that these two guys made that talk about where Jokic has been and what he has done in previous rounds of the playoffs. There are other players and centers who have accomplished more and have done this multiple times.
Multiple.
There are also players who can have really good runs like this and then never be heard from again. No one takes away the 04 championship from the Detroit Pistons. But do we really fancy Billups that much? Allen Iverson is your favorite player. He is one of the maybe 6, 7 best shooting guards of all time, without a doubt. Top 10 for sure. He does not get enough credit in NBA history because he did this amazing finals run one time. Jokic gets all the props in the world. He's earned it. It's his. He deserves praise. But I think we're giving him too much praise at this point in time. I think we are prisoners of the moment of, wow, this Denver team never won nothing. Jokic has been being doubted. Murray's back from this. Like, there's so many different narratives that it's all building into, like, we need to pump this up. And we're pumping it up too much that it's going to pop. So I just think we need to relax on the, wow, Jokic is this amazing, super great all-time talent when he's on the way, on the track, but he's not there yet.
The Denver Nuggets played 3 teams from the play-in tournament on their way to winning the NBA Finals, one of them being the team that they beat in the NBA Finals. Now, I am not trying to throw shade at Nikola Jokic. What Nikola Jokic has done this year, not even just this playoffs, but this season, first player ever to score 2,000 points, have 1,000 rebounds and 500 assists ever in NBA history. You know, what Jokic has done has been, this season, has been nothing short of spectacular. You said this earlier. You said, when comparing what he's done this playoffs, we need to have that in context, because when you're not playing against the best, but you're putting up these numbers, you can't compare that to others. I will give Nikola Jokic his flowers for what he's done this season. And I want to put a box around that, because you can't talk about what he's done the last 2 seasons and try and justify this season with those 2 seasons. You just can't do that. Oh, well, he didn't have Jamal Murray. I don't care if he didn't have Jamal Murray. The fact is that his play even went down in those playoffs. What I'm going to say is, Nikola Jokic, congratulations for winning the 2023 Finals MVP. I look forward to seeing what you can build on from this. And you have a great start. 7th greatest center of all time. We have a video on that if you want to go back and watch. If you disagree, let us know. But I don't believe he's over Robinson yet. I'll say that. I'm not sipping that Kool-Aid. David Robinson is still at 6. But Jokic is slowly climbing. And look, he's doing things that we've never seen before at this position. Jokic got there, did it once. But if you're asking me, are they the favorites to win it next year? No. I don't have them as the favorites to win it next year, because there's still somebody named Giannis Antetokounmpo in the league.
And I think, I wanted to bring this up earlier and I forgot. I think that no one believed the Nuggets were going to, they were supposed to lose to Phoenix. They were supposed to lose to the Lakers.
Yep.
And even in the finals, I don't think we were immediately counting Miami out.
No.
These NBA playoffs, the people who would have been rivaling Jokic for these accumulative counting stats were not there. And obviously, the players that go the farthest are going to have the most opportunities to score all these points, rebounds, assists, whatever.
Exactly.
And usually, the person on the other side is someone who is good enough to rival the person on the other side in these stats, and they just didn't have that this season. Karl Malone has went to finals and lost, and we always say, yeah, but look at all his other stuff. Now, Jokic can still do that, but this obviously helps his case, but it's not like this is all he needed to be like validated as one of the greatest ever, right? Still got to do a whole lot more.
And it's interesting, you had mentioned, I want to hear your take that you gave me earlier today on Nikola Jokic's attitude kind of after the game when we were talking about the parade, and we were kind of looking at like Jokic, I just want to go home. Like, it just seems like this is, like you said, this is a job. It's cool. Like, yeah, he's excited he won, but he's more worried about going to see his horses.
Yeah. No, I've never seen not even a superstar, an NBA player, react this candidly to winning a championship. Like, he has done something only a select group of people in their life will have the opportunity to do or even get close to doing. And he just wants to go home, man. He wants to just put his feet up and put his comfy clothes on. Everyone spraying champagne, goggles on, yelling, laughing. And he was standing in the back, just like sipping on his champagne bottle. Like, not like spraying it or just like he treats this like it's a 9 to 5. And I said this to you earlier. Kevin Durant has always said, I just want to go out there and play basketball. I just want to be judges, Kevin Durant, blah, 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 which is all cool. But Kevin Durant's kind of a dick about it. Jokic is actually saying, like, I'm just some dude that plays basketball. Like, he holds things in his life that are more important to him, and he understands, like, when we're talking about the grand scheme of life, do NBA championships, do sports matter? No, they really don't. You can go your whole life and not do anything important in sports and still be an important person within your own life and society. And I think Jokic has that all in perspective of, like, this is my job. I've been gifted with this talent and genetics to be this player, but I still just want to go home and be a dad and be a good person and be humble. And one more thing I want to say about Jokic's attitude, I really, really, really love that after the game, before he even said congrats to anybody or let the winning hit him, he acknowledged every single Heat player. He went up to the coaches. He dabbed them up, said, good job, you played hard, and then he celebrated. That spoke more to me about who Nikola Jokic is as a person than anything else he could have done.
Like you said earlier, there's a very select few group of people who have ever been able to hold a title of best player in the world. Jokic has it now, and we'll see how long he can hold it. It could be up for grabs once the 2024 season starts, depending on how things unravel. But he earned it in the playoffs. He earned it in the finals. There was an interview, and I remember the quote. Oh, God, I'm dropping the ball here.
I remember the quote.
It was, don't forget to bet on the fat kid.
What? He said that?
He said bet on the fat kid.
I didn't hear him say that. Yeah, let's not forget that Jokic was drafted during a Taco Bell commercial.
Bro, first player ever drafted in the second round to have a finals MVP and a regular season MVP.
Congrats to Jokic and the Nuggets on your success and your winning. Hope nothing but the best for you. We'll see how long you can hold that title, though.
You guys don't make it back. I don't want to see you there.
Yeah, you did it once. That's all you get.
You shut us all up. Now let's get back to the status quo of things, because this is a weird NBA season.
Back to Giannis. And that's going to do it for us today, guys. Had a nice, easy show, light and breezy, and lemon squeezy. Hope you enjoyed listening to us and watching us wherever you're at. Hope you learned something. And always remember, if you are in need of intelligent and cogent sports analysis, listen to the sound. We always got your back. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys next time. Take care. Have a great rest of your day.
Listen to the sound. I listen to the sound.